Mummies, topless dancers, and serial killers. It's episode 43.
It's the Brainiac Top 10 and 10. Here's the owner of Brainiac Trivia, John Boyce, and his favorite 10 questions of the week.
All right, guys, so since the last podcast, I have asked 505 questions, including a fun afternoon at the Stones River Manor Senior Living Community. So let's get right into it. Here are my favorite 10.
Number 10.
All right, get used to this theme. You're going to have quite a bit of multiple choice in this one. Fact or crap will kick us off. During the Civil War, desperate paper mills imported mummy wrappings from Egypt to make paper.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
Yeah, let me tell you guys, times were tough during the Civil War. Mummy wrappings. Maybe you were writing that Dear John letter on a mummy wrapping.
Number 9.
Music for this one. Back in 2014, what famous singer accidentally released 8 seconds of white noise on iTunes, which went to number 1 in Canada before being removed? Does it shock absolutely anybody that Taylor Swift could release 8 seconds of literally nothing and it would go number 1?
Number 8.
Food and beverage at number 8. What candy did Clarence Crane introduce in 1912? Ironically, the same year the Titanic sank. What candy did Clarence Crane introduce in 1912? Ironically, the same year the Titanic sank. So back in 1912, Clarence Crane introduced Lifesavers, which of course was the same year that the Titanic sank. Had some other really good answers on that one. Snow caps I thought was pretty good as well.
Number 7.
All right, before or after on this? So another multiple choice question for you. Did Viagra hit the market before or after condom companies were allowed to show commercials on American television? Once again, before or after, did Viagra hit the market before or after condom companies were allowed to show commercials on American television? So condoms were not allowed to have commercials until 1991. Viagra hit the market in 98. After is the right answer.
Number 6.
All right, another from Fact or Crap. Thomas Edison once had an assistant die while trying to invent an electric tool that could trap souls. Fact or crap? Thomas Edison once had an assistant die while trying to invent an electric tool that could trap souls.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
Yeah, he did indeed have an assistant that died while they were trying to invent an electric tool that could trap souls. Couldn't figure out if the device worked or not, but just more proof that genius and crazy are pretty much the same thing.
Number 5.
Into the top half we go. Multiple choice on this one. Multiple choice. Original baseballs were wrapped with the foreskin from which animal? Horses, pigs, or donkeys? Original baseballs were wrapped with the foreskins from which animal? Horses, pigs, or donkeys? Original baseballs were wrapped in the foreskin of horses. I really wanted to put foreskin in the title of this episode, but didn't think that would go over so well at my family-friendly locations.
Number 4.
Number 4, this is exciting. True crime. It's my first time having true crime on the podcast because I just unveiled this category earlier this week. Felt very fitting to do it in October. You'll probably get a pretty healthy dose of this over the coming weeks. After that, it'll go kind of in regular rotation and pop up here or there. So true crime at number 4. In the 1800s, H.H. Holmes made murder into a business when he killed guests and employees at his hotel and then sold their skeletons to medical schools. In what major U.S. city was his hotel? In the 1800s, H.H. Holmes made murder into a business when he killed guests and employees at his hotel and then sold their skeletons to medical schools. In what major U.S. city was his hotel? So back in the 1800s, H.H. Holmes built this basically murder mansion hotel and would kill his employees as well as his guests. I'm sure he didn't get a very good review on Yelp. And then sell their skeletons to medical schools. It's actually pretty smart. It's a good way to get rid of evidence. But that murder hotel was in Chicago.
Number 3.
Into the top 3. Once again, back to multiple choice. Here we go. I'll say it and I'll spell it. Castoreum. 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 It's a natural flavoring that is often used in gelatins or puddings. It comes from the anal glands of which of the following animals? Deer, beavers, or cows? Castoreum is a natural flavoring that is often used in gelatins or puddings. It comes from the anal glands of which of the following animals? Deer, beavers, or cows? I used to eat pudding all the time, too. I loved pudding until I read this. Castoreum is a natural flavoring, often in gelatins or puddings. It comes from the anal glands of beavers. Let's just move on.
Number 2.
Number 2, from geography. Credited as having the first topless dancers in the country. Although now closed, in what California city could you have found the Condor nightclub? Credited as having the first topless dancers in the country. Although now closed, in what California city could you have found the Condor nightclub? Yeah, the Condor nightclub found in San Francisco. I was a bit surprised at how many people got this one right. I thought I'd get some LAs, maybe some San Diegos. Nope, most people went straight to San Francisco.
Number 1.
All right, my number 1 question. Since the last podcast, I've asked over 500 questions. This one right here was my favorite one from the history category.
It's a mystery.
Although never convicted, what pre-Civil War U.S. president was arrested while serving as president for running down a woman while on horseback? Although never convicted, what pre-Civil War U.S. president was arrested while serving as president for running down a woman while on horseback? So on the night of 1853, President Franklin Pierce was returning on horseback from the home of a friend in Washington, D.C. In the pitch black darkness, the president accidentally, quotations, ran down Miss Nathan Lewis, who was crossing the street. There was a policeman in the area, saw it happen, arrested the chief executive for reckless horsemanship. I want to say that again. Arrested him for reckless horsemanship. According to police records, the president simply said, "I am Mr. Pierce." He was then released. The woman, in case you're wondering, suffered little more than minor cuts and bruises, so she wasn't killed. She didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. But Franklin Pierce ran a woman down and was arrested. Right around the corner, guys, October 21st, Halloween movie trivia at the Capitol Theater. We'll watch Addams Family afterwards. Then in November, Disney movie trivia. Then The Lion King, that's on November 11th. And December 16th, Christmas movie trivia, as well as Christmas Vacation on the big screen. All of that happening at the Capitol Theater in Lebanon. If you'd like to become a supporter of the podcast, click on the link in the bio. Nothing is expected. Everything is appreciated. Trivia is more fun in person. Check out my social media, Facebook and Instagram, hopefully to find a location near you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the Brainiac Trivia Top 10 and 10. I'm John Boyce.
Thought I'd try out my sea legs.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dane.